when we can ask when we're in a better headspace or emotional space, the conversation will go much better, which we all know, but sometimes we just need that reminder.
Are you overwhelmed by motherhood and barely keeping your head above water? Are you confused and frustrated by how all the other moms make it look so easy? You can't figure out how to manage the chaos in your mind, your home, or your family. I get you, mama. Parenting with ADHD is hard. Here is your permission slip to let go of the Pinterest-worthy visions of organization and structure fit for everyone else. Let's do life like our brains do life, creatively, lovingly, and with all our might. When we embrace who we are and how our brains work, we can figure out how to live our lives successfully and, in turn, lead our families well. At the end of the day, we just want to be good moms. But, spoiler alert, you are already a great mom. ADHD does not mean you're doomed to be a hot mess, mama. You can rewrite your story from shame spiral to success story. And I'll be right here beside you to cheer you on. Welcome to Motherhood in ADHD. Hey there, Successful Mama. It's your friend, Patricia Sung. In this episode, we are talking about how do you ask for help when you have ADHD, especially if you're asking somebody who's not neurodivergent. But sometimes it is other people that are around you that are neurodivergent. But how do you ask for help from your family members or extended family or coworkers or friends when it feels uncomfortable to say, I need help because I have ADHD, or I need help because I have a disability or health issues or whatever's going on. And yet we're not meant to do this life alone. So how do we ask for help? Like, how do we feel that we can do it in a way that feels good to us? And then we're not coming at it from this like wah-wah mentality of like, well, there I go again, just can't handle my life. Or, oh my gosh, I'm going to bother them. No. How do we ask for help? Because you're deserving of help. It can be done. And before we dive into that clip, a reminder that Rooted Group Coaching is open for signups through the last Thursday of the month. When you have tried literally everything and it's still not coming together and you're like, you know what, I am a fairly intelligent human being. I have checked all the boxes, I've done all the lists, and somehow I still can't figure out why this is not coming together. Why am I still so frustrated? Why am I still so scattered? Because you can see the things that you've done. Maybe you have a degree, maybe you have a good job. You've worked really hard at getting where you are now. And yet somehow it still doesn't feel like you got it together. Then you need support that's tailored to how you function, how your brain works, how you are a carer and a responsible person for others, not just yourself. And that you need support that takes all of that into account. It takes into account your full person and the health issues that you have and the other struggles that are going on. And finding the way to make your life fit you with someone who gets it. Not just me, there's also the other moms in the group who get it, and knowing that you're not alone. So when you are ready for that help, we meet twice a month and do coaching on whatever's plaguing you at the moment. Whether it's trying to get out the door on time or trying to balance all the things that are on your plate with your kids and family and work and volunteer projects, with your child who probably is a lot like you and has some neurodiversity as well, and how you're trying to build that relationship instead of having a fight with them every day. We come in, we take care of the most pressing issue, and we move on. There's no extra homework. You have enough to do. We come in, we get it done, and we move on. We are learning as we go. We are implementing on the fly as we learn, because we don't have to have it all together in order to learn, in order to teach our kids these skills too. We can work together to make our lives fit us and teach our kids how to do that at the same time. So come join me in Rooted. All the information's on my website, patriciasung.com/group. And if you don't see an opening right now, shoot me an email, hello@patriciasung.com, and I'll let you know what opening's available. And if not, I'll drop you on the wait list and you'll be the very first person to know when the next opening's available. So check it out. Come join me and let's make your life a little bit easier in all this chaos that you are currently juggling. You make it look good, and now we can make it feel good too. That's patriciasung.com/group, or shoot me an email and tell me you're ready to go. hello@patriciasung.com. Let's dive into the episode. Our monthly theme discussion is today. So we're talking about help me help you, how to ask for help from your non-neurodivergent family, friends, and coworkers. So when we're talking about asking for help, the question was specifically around how to ask for help. So I'm not going to get too far in the weeds of like, who do you ask? So like, we need to figure out when we need help, which is talking about like, what are our red flags in
like, oh my gosh, things are not going well right now. Like, how do we know that we need help? And when we talk about like, what do you need help with? That combination of things that you don't like doing or don't need to be you, like you don't have to be the one doing them. And like, what are the things you're just plain not good at? Like, we don't have to be good at everything. Who can you ask for help? All of that is in my How to Outsource course. So all of that can be in there. The question today is like, how do we actually ask for the help? Like once you know what you need help with, how do you ask? Especially when we're asking people that don't have ADHD and it feels uncomfortable in that way. The first thing is that we need to know that we're deserving of help and that it is okay for us to need help. And like, I am just as loudly yelling that at myself because a lot of times I think, no, I can figure it out. I can do it on my own. Like, no, it is okay for us to have help. It is okay for us to ask. We are not meant, like as humans, we are not meant to be solitary. Like we are not like, I'm like, what's a creature that lives by itself? We are not created that way. We are meant to work in community with each other and be in families. We are meant to be in groups. So it's okay that you need help. You are not a burden. And honestly, like people like helping the people that they love. Like we like helping the people that we care about. Like think about how much you love helping your kids with stuff. I mean, not when they're driving you crazy, but like you like being needed by them and taking care of them. Like, yes, not all the time, but like that is an important part of our relationship as humans is like being needed. Like nobody wants to be friends with somebody who doesn't need them. Like if you're always helping another friend and they never say, like they never reciprocate in the way of like, hey, can you help me? Then it feels weird, right? Like we like helping the people that are important to us and that's how we build relationships. So like that's the first part of us knowing like it's okay. Not only is it like okay for us to have help, but like we're supposed to have help. That is how we are meant to function as people. So like letting that like guilt go and the shame of needing help, like you're supposed to need help. That's not like every human needs help. It doesn't matter if you have ADHD or not. Everybody needs help. We are meant to be in community. So there's part one. Part two of like, how do we ask for help is that we want to ask for help when we can be as much in like a good space as possible. When we ask people for help and we're freaking out and overwhelmed, and like 2 nights ago, I'm in that part of my cycle where it's just not in a good mood. And my kid's over there shoving candy in the kitchen drawer of the candy drawer. And he's also trying to add more things in. And like all the things are falling behind the drawer, underneath, into my pots and pans. And I'm like, stop putting the stuff in. And I was like, just throw away the half-eaten dum-dums. Like I was like in a mood, right? And it was like, that was like not the time for me to ask for help in cleaning out the candy drawer. That was the time for me to walk away and not ask for help. So like when we can ask for help and like when we're in a better space, like we don't have to necessarily be like 100%, but when we are in a better space, we can more clearly articulate what is it we actually need, having that like back and forth with the person on like what it is that we need, how it needs to get done. Like when we can ask when we're in a better headspace or emotional space, the conversation will go much better, which we all know, but sometimes we just need that reminder of like, 2 days before your cycle starts, probably not the time to have the conversation. Can you do it before or after? Like, where are the times where you have more capacity to have those kind and more loving version of the conversation of wanting help?
What can you do to treat your ADHD? Medicines are a great way to help so many people, but they don't work for everyone, and sometimes you're in a place or a season that they're just not going to work out right now. Maybe they're not an option. I have put together a list of a ton of ideas, most of which I either have done or I'm currently doing myself to take care of my ADHD. This is like the full brainstorm list of what you can do to take care of yourself beyond medication. Head on over to patriciasung.com/beyond-meds and grab yourself that checklist. That's patriciasung.com/BEYOND-MEDS for a free checklist of all the ways that you can take care of yourself beyond medication.
The next thing to think about is your safety level. So the way that you're going to ask for help, like in your family, like from your partner, from your kids, will be different than how you will ask, like, somebody at work. So the way that we're going to frame that will be different depending on who it is. And one of my favorite ADHD, like talky people is Carolyn McGuire. Why will no one play with me? is the name of her book. And she's been on the podcast and she talks a lot about understanding friendships and how a lot of times with ADHD, we don't get the like difference between an acquaintance versus a friend versus a good friend versus like a family and like the different levels of relationship, especially for our kids. Like that's especially why like a lot of our teenagers will get into trouble with friendships because they don't understand the different types of friends and the different levels of friendships and like what you share with friends versus what you would share with an acquaintance. Like telling the coffee barista, hey, how's it going? Good to see you versus, oh my gosh, let me tell you all the drama in my life. Like sometimes it's just an impulsive, like I'm having a rough day. And so this is the first person I saw and they got all my word vomit. And then other people are like, oh, it never occurred to me that I shouldn't tell the coffee barista about like the weird discharge I have. Like there is different quality and quantity of information that we give different people. So when we look at it that way, when I say like your safety level, it's things like the way that you're going to ask a boss for help and you feel very supported by them is different than how you're going to ask a boss for support when they're not a very kind and caring boss or who's not a good people manager. So we kind of have that filter when we go in of like how we're going to ask for this based on who they are, what the relationship is, what your safety level is. And so going into that conversation, we want to like do like a filter check of like, based on this person and this relationship, is this a good idea, I guess? Then when we go into framing it for that person, like when we're actually going to ask them for help, we want to frame it in a way that feels good both for us and for them. So like finding this win-win situation. And a lot of times we want to like justify or explain all the things. And like we don't have to explain everything or justify everything when we ask for help. We can just ask for the help and that's it. So like, for example, like when you have a boss who's not a good people manager, you don't have to tell them your whole mental health history. You can say something like, after you have a meeting with them, you can just send them the email that's like, hey, we just met. I'm recapping what we just discussed. Here are my takeaways of what you would like from me and when, just confirming that we're all on the same page. So it's not even saying like, because I'm an auditory listener, I really struggle when you give me directions verbally, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to explain all that. We can just say, hey, I'm recapping our meeting. You asked me to do these 3 things by Friday. Is that correct? Okay, I'm glad I have that covered. So we don't have to go into the full story. We can just say, this is what I need. We don't have to give a why. And really, like the simpler we can keep that, the easier it is for people to help us. Like, yes, they do need some details, but when we start getting into this whole big backstory, sometimes the actual request gets lost. So it's okay to say it in a simple way of, oh, you know what? I'm not really good with auditory directions. I'm going to write this down to make sure that I've got it. You don't have to say, well, I have an auditory processing disorder and that's a common symptom with people with ADHD and I've had this mental health condition. But we can just keep it simple. It's okay to just ask for help. And then the last one is their response is a reflection on them. It's not a reflection on you. So if you ask that person for help, it is so hard to know, but it really is about them. I was reminded this morning, today is, one of my work days. My husband is in between a job. He just quit his old job. He starts his new job on Monday. So he's off this week. And this morning, he's like, can you help me start putting together the Christmas tree? And I was like, and this is how I know that I need help. And like, I'm flooded as I was like, it's really important to you. I think, but it was like when I can't finish a sentence, I know that I am in a place where I am getting like at capacity. And the idea of putting together a Christmas tree this morning was like too much. And so that reflection, that was me. It had nothing to do with him wanting to put together the Christmas tree. That was on me. So in the same way, when we ask somebody for help, that's a reflection on what they are thinking, what their capacity is. It's not about us. So it's okay. Like if they say no, it's not because they hate us. It's not because they think we're a horrible friend who's too needy. It's not because our boss thinks we can't get anything done. It's okay for them to just be like, hey, they don't have capacity to help in that way today. And so what helps me is if they say no to this, what do I want to do instead? Like not to go down like the 53 what if rabbit holes, but just to know like if I ask this friend to pick up my kid on Tuesday because somehow I got double booked with a doctor's appointment, blah, blah, blah. If my friend says no, instead of me taking it personally, who else could I ask? I'm going to ask this friend. So in that case, it's not me stewing over like, oh, does this friend think I asked too much? Blah, blah. It's just like, oh, they're probably busy. I saw a really funny meme the other day. He was like, oh, if you don't respond to my text message, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you had diarrhea that day. Like, it's not a reflection on me. It's a reflection on what's going on with them. So it's okay. So knowing like if they say no, it's not because they think I'm a friend who's too needy. It's because maybe they already have 4 kids in their car and they don't have any more car seats available. Like, so what am I going to do? I can ask this friend over here. So immediately I know what my next task is instead of wallowing in my self-pity of why they said no to me. Okay. So those are my 5 things of knowing we deserve help. Like, we are meant to be helped. That's how people were created. Asking when we're in a good headspace or emotional level, looking at like what our safety level is and like relationship level with that person of does this fit the situation, then framing it in a way that feels good. So it's a win-win. You don't have to give the whole 45-minute explanation. Just here's what I need some help with. Can you help me? Yes or no? And then knowing that their response is a reflection on them and their capacity, not me. And then finally, if they say no, what do I want to do instead?
For more resources, classes, and community, head over to my website, motherhoodinadhd.com.